Welcome back, I guess, to the, I don't even know, fifth part by now of the Warlead series, and this time we're going to talk about medium tanks in general. Well, medium tanks for competitive play, which is for me Clan Wars, ESL, skirmishes, strongholds, at tier 10. So let's go through the countries like we did with heavies and so on. I think that's really the best way to do this. E50M, great in randoms, basically completely useless in skirmishes and so on. Although it's just not as bad as people might portray it sometimes, it's just that other tanks are just better. We'll find very rare usage in Clan Wars and ESL when like the frontal armor and speed and weight, like actually ramming things matters. But like E50M is really, it's a great tank if you want to play randoms for competitive, very underused. Leopard, kind of the same. It will be, like, you'll see a Leopard more often than an E50M because it's got a great gun. And it's fast, and it's got great view range, and it's got decent camo. But also not a very used tank, sadly. Russian tanks. Stupidly enough, for skirmishes, if you don't know what to take, or even in general, like, the answer is Object 140. For mediums, it's by far, mediums aren't as diversified as heavies. And especially for skirmishes, 140s are going to dominate everything. Once you get to like Clan Wars or stronger attacks where you know the map in advance, you do start to to see some more, let's say, Leos, many bad shot setups. STBs basically become very relevant if you know the map, because on some maps are really good. Which is also why STBs are used so much in ESL, I guess. But yeah, for kind of skirmishes, 140 is a way to go, and then for 3062A can replace it if needed. I guess I would say like that. M48A1 really isn't used. Like, you see it from time to time now that it got buffed, but it's still very much a rarity. Batchat is the go-to scout. You basically have three options, I guess. You have the Batchat, you have the 30B, and you have the Leopard, unless you want to start using tier 8 tanks. And Batchat is definitely the best of those. It's really good at scouting. You really want to make sure your matchup players have great crews and like the correct equipment for whatever the map is and so on. Sometimes that's going to be vents and gunning drives, sometimes that's going to be even optics or cabinet or binocs. Optics quite often. Maybe even coffee. And Batchat players can definitely dominate. In skirmishes at tier 10 you always want to have at least 2 or 3 Batchats. I like to go with 3, but 2 works just as well. To be able to spot each flank, and you can even see setups on specific maps which use like a lot of Batchats. Like a lot. Definitely a very good tank. No. It's just a bad tank. I'm sorry, it's just nothing more to it. 1-to-1 is kind of like, this tank would actually, I think, fill a lot of niches and be pretty usable if it weren't for the 140, which for this purpose is basically just better in every situation. I don't think you're ever gonna see a 1-to-1 unless the clan is like low on tanks. I don't know, maybe I can think of like 1-2 super specific situations I would use it myself, but even there, like, most of the time you're just better off either taking your 50B if you just want a fast gun, or a 140. SCB, like I said, definitely very much worth considering, and one of the few tanks which actually is so in the medium side of tank. Because it's got insane DPM, insane gun depression, and like some pretty good, you know, all-around skills, such as, I don't know, it's got good view range and decent turret armor, low profile, stuff like that. So definitely worth considering. It's just that like in the kind of straight up doing whatever role, Object 140s are better, which is why you mainly see Object 140s in skirmishes. While the STB is very limited to hold down brawling and hold down sniping and stuff like that. TVP also definitely a very good tank just because of that 4-clip like small autoloader. But like it's not quite as OP as I think people thought it to be at the beginning, and mainly just because it's able to farm damage like hell in randoms, it does make it that good in ESL because the clip, or in Clan Wars, the clip and the pen are kind of small. So if you start penning only 2-3 shots, you start being a bit of a pea shooter. And that's where the tank quickly becomes bad. But definitely like a tank to consider, especially for Clan Wars when you really want to know, like you really know what you want to do, and you know you're gonna just want to destroy a certain amount of mediums from a certain position at a certain time, and you need something fast. TVP is definitely very great. And then the Swedish don't even have any mediums yet. So for the mediums, it's really straightforward. You take 140s for skirmishes, you take Batchats for support and for spotting all the time. And then if you get to Clan Wars and also ESL, I guess, feel free to, especially as ESL has G9 tanks, which actually makes it really interesting, one of the good parts of ESL. Really feel free to kind of try around with taking Neos and STBs and maybe even the odd A50M or M48 pattern or something. But in the end, it's dominated by like Object 140s and patch